Dan Aykroyd, seen here doing press for the first Ghostbusters film, was extremely close to Belushi, having become like family as they came up in the industry together. What makes this particular interview clip so much more poignant is that, at the time of Belushi's death, Aykroyd had been working on multiple new projects for himself and Belushi to star. He would even use these projects in an attempt to lure Belushi back from California in the days before Belushi's death. One of those projects was none other than Ghostbusters. Aykroyd originally envisioned the film with Belushi in mind for the leading role of Dr. Peter Venkman, aiming to capitalize on Belushi's comedic skill and charisma. The concept drew from Aykroyd's long-held family interest in the paranormal, only in this case, envisioning a comedic team battling supernatural forces. However, Belushi's untimely death in 1982 necessitated a rethink of the project. Bill Murray ultimately stepped into the Venkman role, bringing his own distinctive comedic deadpan style. While Murray's portrayal became iconic, Belushi's intended involvement remains an interesting what-if in film history.
The Howard Stern Show.
It was always supposed to be called Ghostbusters, but we couldn't get the title. Taft Broadcasting owned it. There was a show with Larry Storch, remember?
Yes, Larry Storch, F-Troop, and Tennessee Tuxedo.
Forrest, of course.
Right.
And Forrest Tucker, they had this show called Ghostbusters, and I didn't know about it when I wrote it.
But when you wrote it for Belushi.
I did. I was, in fact, when John, when the keyboard lit up at the office like a Keno board, telling me that he was gone, I was writing a line for him.
So sad, and the Ghostbusters movie. Of course, you ended up casting Bill Murray in it.
Aykroyd had to navigate both the loss of a close friend and the challenge of adapting the project for Murray. Despite this, Ghostbusters emerged as a beloved classic, albeit with the shadow of Belushi's potential contribution forever lingering. But Ghostbusters wasn't the only film Belushi would miss out on. Aykroyd and Belushi were slightly further into the creative process, with another project the same year that he passed away.
You have another project coming up together? Speaking of right attitude, something about spies?
It's written, and it's in revision stage right now, and we play two guys who work for the Department of Defense, and more than that, we can't say too much about it, but we're looking forward. In concert with Dave Thomas of SCTV.
Oh, he's funny. That's a funny show. It's a great show.
We're happy to have him on our team.
Spies Like Us, a 1985 American comedy film directed by John Landis and starring Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd, has a notable connection to John Belushi. Initially, Aykroyd developed the screenplay with the intention of starring alongside Belushi. Besides being close friends, the two actors had previously collaborated on Saturday Night Live and multiple films. It was Aykroyd and Belushi's chemistry and comedic timing that had been a driving force behind their success. Spies Like Us was initially envisioned as a vehicle to further showcase their duo. However, John Belushi's tragic death in 1982 prevented this plan from coming to fruition. The role opposite Aykroyd was recast with Chevy Chase taking the part. Despite Belushi's absence, the film went on to become a significant part of the 1980s comedy landscape. Belushi's loss would be realized far sooner than that, however, as Aykroyd would present the award for Best Visual Effects at the 54th Oscars just 24 days after his death. Fulfilling the duo's prior obligation, without his friend and partner at his side, Aykroyd would still pay tribute to Belushi, disobeying a promise made to Oscars producer Howard W. Koch in the process.
The envelope, please. Thank you. My partner, he would have loved presenting this award with me. He was somewhat of a visual effect himself.
And speaking of visual effects, although John Belushi did not directly participate in Ghostbusters, as he passed away 2 years before its release, his influence on the character of Slimer is a notable aspect of the film's legacy. Dan Aykroyd, creator of Ghostbusters, envisioned Slimer as a kind of tribute to his late friend, describing Slimer as the ghost of John Belushi, embodying Belushi's larger-than-life personality and appetites. Though the character's design wasn't meant to physically resemble Belushi, the spirit's gluttonous behavior mirrors Belushi's boisterous and excessive nature. There is no doubt Belushi's spirit and personality traits inspired Slimer's creation. Slimer's mischievous and voracious character reflects the energy and humor that Belushi brought to his performances, making Slimer a lasting homage to the beloved comedian.